Hello, this is the Numark Party Mix 3 and this is the Numark MixTrack Go. These are two brand new entry-level, fun, casual controllers from Numark, and in this short video I'll tell you everything you need to know about these. So let's get started. This one here is the one with the 8 cue pads, the lights on the back, the kind of small way of getting started in DJing, which might just be all you need if you're super casual about DJing. It's got the full EQs that you miss on the smaller one. It's got the filter as you would expect, but nowadays these have got to handle the big new thing in DJing, which of course is acapellas and instrumentals, and so there's buttons for those, and there's also a pad mode where you can separate the stems further into bass and drums as well, all there on the unit itself. And these are the first small DJ controllers, the first entry-level DJ controllers to offer this. This one here also has Beatline, which is a feature borrowed from Hercules with their beginner controllers, which helps you to decide which tracks in front or which tracks behind the other one, which helps to learn beat mixing. And it's got basic pad effects as well. So as well as the effects, which can be selected by going like that, you also have the sampler, as I said, stems, hot cues and loops on there. It's got fade effects, which is a nice way of moving from track to track by just moving the fader across, and it will engage an echo and a filter or whatever you have set on the software that you've got that can use that feature. And unlike the DDJ Flex 2 from Pioneer DJ Alpha Theta, from that stable, the record box stable, with their small controller, this has got a library browser here as well, which lets you move through whatever your software is and pick a track without having to go to the software itself, which is a big thing that they missed on that little controller from that brand. So nice to see that on, not only on that one, but on this one as well. Now this little tiny one, which is the replacement for the DJ2GO2 Touch, I think that's what they called it. It's now called the MixTrack Go. A much better idea. Unlike this one, which is cut down a little bit further. So unlike this one here, this one doesn't have any EQs here. Of course it doesn't, because there's nothing physically there. However, you can now switch the filter to a low EQ. So you can do the bass cut EQ on there, which is nice. But it does have a surprising number of features left over. I mean, the unfeasibly tiny jog wheels still have the scratch performance on the top, the capacitive, and still have the nudge on the side, which was the difference between the Numark DJ2GO2 and the DJ2GO2 Touch. I think that's what they were called. So that's still there, but you've also got at least 4 of the pads left there. All the cue modes and the important acapella and instrumental buttons stay there as well. So this does maintain quite a lot of what is on here in this tiny unit. Now you might say to yourself, what about using it with a phone? Because nowadays, of course, phones are the thing for super casual DJing. Well, it works with phones as well. So this works with Algorithms DJ on the phone. Algorithms DJ software is unlocked for free with all the features you can see on the top here. So in other words, you don't get everything in that software, but if it's on here, you get it, which means you get the effects, fade effects, you get the acapella, instrumental, and so on, and full access to your library in that software, which of course means any streaming services that you have on your phone, or indeed on your laptop if you're using it with Serato DJ Lite, which it also unlocks for free on a laptop, will all work directly in the unit. Again, very useful because these are super casual controllers. They're not really for serious DJing on, and so therefore people using them are likely to have an account with Spotify or Apple Music or whatever and just want to get to their music, which is all fine, and that's how it works. Now another interesting thing about this, again, there's nothing really new here apart from the acapella and instrumental buttons on the units themselves for such tiny little controllers as this. However, they do have something else which has been borrowed from, I think again it was Hercules that did this, which is MIDI over Bluetooth. So Bluetooth is not really very good for DJing. That's why even on a tiny little controller like this, you still have cables which let you plug into your sound system, because if you did have Bluetooth out, it would just be too laggy and it wouldn't really feel very nice. Like playing a guitar and strumming it and hearing it half a second later, it doesn't work. So Bluetooth's no good for that. However, Bluetooth is pretty good for MIDI, because it's sending a tiny amount of information rather than a large amount of information. Therefore, you can link easily with Algorithm's DJ running on a phone or a tablet via MIDI. These will talk wirelessly to each other, so you don't need to have this plugged in at all. There's a downside to that: no headphone monitoring. You're going to be using the volume on your phone or some kind of adapter to get the audio out of here. So certainly not my preferred way of working. My preferred way of working, even with a phone, is to plug it in using a cable like this. This one's going off to the laptop here. However, the same cable can plug into the phone, and then your headphones work on here, your audio out works on here. The phone powers the units, because these units are both bus powered, which means that they take their power from the laptop you're using or the phone that you're using. So that's all taken care of. Otherwise, you're going to need to use a phone adapter or a battery pack. The good thing is they're USB-C, so you can use a battery pack to get these working anywhere. So that obviously for super portable controllers like this, that is a very good idea, because that's kind of what they major on. There's obviously things missing from these. You know, it's very fiddly. You're not going to be DJing with your shoulders back and, you know, on big gear like you would be on something like this, of course, but that's taken as read. But also there's no microphone sockets, for instance, on these, so you can't plug in a mic. There's not even a tiny little headset socket for plugging in a microphone. So that's something that you're just gonna have to accept that you miss. Who are they for then? Well, look, these are super casual, as I say. They are designed really for people who just want to mess around with DJing on their phone, or in the case of the little one, a lot of DJs get one of these as a backup because it can just throw in your bag. They're really durable. They're well made. I quite like the new white and black with a little touch of red on the units themselves. But these have always been well made. I've got one of these knocking around, one of the previous versions that I've used for years and years and years. They fit really nicely onto your laptop. So they just kind of sit there and turn your laptop into kind of like a mini controller type setup. So, you know, if you're sat on a plane, if you've got a little tray table out on a plane for preparing mixes for the radio or for rehearsing or preparing your music even, these are really good. So the software they come with is a free version of Serato DJ Lite, which is all right, but it's limited in quite a few ways. For instance, on this one, it can only use the 4 pads in the hot cues mode and so on. These pads at the bottom are kind of like shoed in for something that's not really very useful to you. You'd need to buy the full version of Serato to unlock all the rest of that stuff. Also, it works with, as I said, DJ from Algorithm, DJ Pro on a laptop, on a Apple or Windows laptop. It will work with all the features you see on the unit itself, as I said, and also on a phone will unlock DJ Pro, and also will work with VirtualDJ as well. So again, you're going to need to own VirtualDJ for that to work. That's kind of all you need to know. It's a nice update, I think, for the people who enjoy these kind of units. They're now bang up to date for the next 5 years. It's probably that long ago that the last one was released. And of course, as you saw at the very beginning of this, we get the nice lights at the back here, which are an instant party in your hotel room should you want it as well, and they're turned on and off using the little button that I just pressed on the side of the unit here. Also on the side of the unit, there's your headphones, 1/8 inch, your main output, and there is your USB-C there. Now it comes with this. This is a case of me being very, very silly, because I spent a long time, this is the one that comes with that, by the way, I spent a long time trying to figure out how this stand works, how you kind of get it to, you know, sit on the unit and make the unit go up a little bit like that. And then I was thinking, well, why would you do that? Anyway, in the end, even my slow brain realized it's actually a nice little stand for your phone, which is a nice addition. And the other nice addition as well is this little cable here, which lets you plug the little 1/8 inch into the usual RCAs should you have speakers that need this, which is actually very useful for me because I need to take this home to do another review with on a PA system, and I was looking for one of these, so thank you Numark for that. So there's our overview of these 2 new units. We've written this up over on the website as well, so you can go and check it there. If you're super casual, you're buying for a child, or you just want to mess around, or you want that little backup to chuck in your bag and take to hotel rooms with you, they're now up to date with all the controls that you would expect to control stems and so on modern gear. And they're mappable as well, so there's more stuff here than ever for you to mess around with should you wish to change those controls on your software to something more useful for you. No Traktor. Traktor is actually now owned by the same parent company. I guess these were too far on in development for that to be included at launch, but who knows, maybe that will come as well as another software option. So they are the MixTrack Go and the Party Mix 3 from Numark. Do let me know what you think about these underneath. And if you're ready to step up from gear like this to bigger gear and to getting a little bit more serious in your DJing, and you want some professional tuition from the best in the business, we're talking DJs like Jazzy Jeff and James Hype and Layback Luke and Ferry Corsten, then come and take a look at our All Access training. Because All Access includes not only the courses from those DJs, but all 24 courses, including our foundation course, the complete DJ course, and all of our mixing courses as well, plus 250 plus extra lessons, mini courses, and mix deconstructions that you can't get anywhere else. All Access is a phenomenal investment in your DJing when you're ready to step up. So do go take a look at All Access. You can click on that URL there, and you can also scan on that QR code there to find out more about All Access, which now has more ways than ever of getting on board. Subscribe, buy outright, or pay in stages. It's all there. Go take a look. Meanwhile, for me, Phil, here in the studio, waiting for your comments underneath. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in another review very soon. Bye for now.